Okay. Are we there?
Yes,
okay.
We've got you. Hello, Christian. Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
For joining us.
Hi, James.
So, Christian, let's start off a little bit, I think, with the difficult situation at the moment that you guys are facing with the whole sort of global pandemic and COVID. So can you just give us a bit of insight? Like, what is the situation for both, Hamilton, Hoddell and performers under these lockdown conditions?
Well, it's been the same for everyone in the world. Everything ground to a halt around the 20th of March, and that was it. However, we are seeing the prospect of our production reopening. In the United Kingdom, I believe we could be seeing things going back to production from September onwards. In other parts of the world, it's already happening. I have a client that's working right now in Norway. I'm about to have someone work in Spain in July. I'll have someone in Australia late August, September. And obviously the situations are different from where the work is situated in the world. But there is cautious opening of and reducing of restrictions. And there's new practices that are going to be put in place. For example, I think artists will be putting on their own makeup, or they'll have it designed for them, and then remotely they'll be told what to do, so that the makeup artists won't be endangered and the artists won't be endangered. So there's all sorts of clever things they're doing to make it possible. Wow,
amazing times. So, Christian, let's just talk a little bit about Young Film Academy. With these talks, what we're trying to do is to sort of give young people a sense of looking into a world that they may not even know really exists.
Yes.
So let's make it simple for people out there. What does a talent agent do?
Okay. A talent agent is the representative of an artist and helps them in a variety of different roles. First of all, an agent can inform an actor of an opportunity, suggest them, it's called submitting, submit them for a part, hopefully get them an audition, prepare the artist for an audition, and then should they get the part, negotiate a contract, make sure the terms of employment are as good as possible and that the remuneration is as strong as possible. And then give advice when something is ready to be transmitted or distributed, to help with the publicity to make the right choices, so you don't end up in situations where you end up not helping a production but actually hindering it by getting the wrong kind of publicity. We tend to have artists at different parts of the spectrum, of just people that are just beginning to people that are very established. And the representation is really different for those people. At the beginning, you're trying to get the artist noticed and get them opportunities. And later on, you're trying to help them make the right choices. And you're sifting through many opportunities and having to say no to a lot of things that sound wonderful. But the journey for each artist is different and their personal goals are different. So you're listening to what they want to accomplish, what is authentic for them, what voice they're trying to put out there, and you help them make choices that will get that across. Now, you asked, how do you get into the entertainment business? It is a very, very strange thing, because there's not any real open sesame moment. You can just walk by a little unmarked door in the wall, and that's actually how you would have gotten in and had a big opportunity. So if you're watching this already, you've already got a head start, because there is a great, big, huge, amazing industry full of incredible jobs in the pre-production sector, which agenting and casting would be in production, if you wanted to be on a set, actually physically making the work, in post-production, getting it prepared to be ready to be put onto into distribution, and also in the marketing, promotion, publicity. There are jobs everywhere. It's just not the kind of place that I believe there are universities degrees for it, but many more people just find it stumbling into it, or they knew someone, or they started in one element of it and then moved. This happens all the time. A lot of agents at one point wanted to be actors, or they were producers, or a lot of producers were agents. In Hollywood, that happens all the time. Big, huge agents suddenly turn into studio heads and heads of production company. There's a lot of flip-flopping. A lot of actors end up directing. I'm not sure how many directors end up acting. I think that doesn't happen so much. But it's something that you can jump around in, actually. And you do, because we all work so closely together, you get a great idea of how the business works. But being an agent interacts with every element of the experience, from the beginning of pre-production to the end of post-production, distribution, and publicity.
And what was your personal route, Christian, into this? Like, how did you get into being, did you always want?
Well, this is how hidden it is. I actually went to film school. I went to a very good film school in America, and I was not good at it. I was not a good director. I was not a good writer. I was a decent producer, but I mainly just acted in all my friends' things. And I got an internship my third year at university. I got an internship in casting. I didn't even know that casting existed, and I was in film school. So that gives you an idea. But I found a little notice on the wall saying, we're looking for an intern to work at a Chicago casting company. I applied, didn't get it the first time, remember that. I got it the second time I applied, remember that. And then I found this amazing world that was perfect for me. It was all about talent. It was all about creating art. There was a highly interactive personal side, which is really good for my personality. And there's a business element that I find really interesting, and it turns out I was good at it, but I didn't know it at the time. What I did have all the time was a love of cinema, and I knew I had good taste. I knew what worked. And that kind of propelled me forward. But I was a disaster at film school, and it was just clear to me that I was not going to end up directing, producing, or writing movies or television. But then I found this side that I could really do.
Well, I think that's such an interesting thing, because so many of the people we've spoken to in this series have talked about that thing that they kind of thought they wanted to be one thing and ended up being slightly different, but ending up really finding their fulfillment. And I think that's...
You'll hear that all the time in entertainment. All the time. So many people. Also, there's a lot of people that have started in the theater that'll end up in on-camera work. A stage management job in theater is extremely challenging. You have to have a lot of skills and do them all at once, and keep everything to going when chaos is happening. That translates very well into everything that you need for the entertainment business. So that happens. There's a real correlation, I would say, though, that there's a real, like, Alice in Wonderland mirror between casting and agency work. So the casting directors represent the buyers, the studios, production companies. They are the voice of the directors and the producers. And then the agents are selling the talent to these people. That's the basic seesaw.
So you are a team with with the actors that you represent. And I think that's what you said earlier, that thing about, obviously, when you're working with, let's say, a Stephen Fry, the job that you're doing is very different from when you're working with someone, an actor who's just entered the industry. Maybe you could just talk a little bit about sort of what... But
each of the actors with quite developed careers, they also have unique paths, and those careers and the process of working with those actors are very different. It's one of the things that's really great about being an agent. There's a huge amount of variety. One of the issues with being an agent is there's no off button. When you start this job, you won't finish it until you leave the profession. And it's with you every day of your life, whether you're on holiday or whether something very sad has happened in your life, or you're celebrating a birthday. That phone's going to go, that email's going to come in, that text is going to come in, and you got to deal with it. So that's a big price to pay. I just want to say that right now. it is an amazing job, and it's a real privilege working with all these amazing people, but it's very intense, and there's no stop to it. And a lot of things in entertainment are like that. It's the price tag of being in such an exciting, vital, glamorous type of job, is that you're expected to come across and be there and be present and be in the moment and be amazing all the time.
Yeah. And how do you, you work with so many different personalities, and these are big personalities who all want something different from you, because you are, to some extent, if you are their actual agent, as opposed to the managing director of Hamilton Hodell, but they want support in so many different ways.
Oh,
how do you balance that thing of kind of working out what each of these different huge personalities needs?
Oh, that's one by one. It's completely bespoke, at least the way I do it. I have enormous respect and empathy for the actors. Actors very rarely get to start a project and be the first impetus of something happening. Something has to happen, and then they're brought into it, usually quite soon, particularly if you're a big name. In order for a project to get financed these days, you must have a star actor attached to it that has already said, I will do that. If we can agree this deal, I am going to do this project. That attachment will get something greenlit. And so that's one of the most essential elements. When someone's at the beginning of their career, you're trying to get them that first break. So you can take all sorts of jobs, and then hopefully something's really, really, really going to explode and be a big moment. Daisy Edgar-Jones is having that right now. I don't know if it's time to talk about her, if we'll get to her in a little bit.
I mean, let's talk about Daisy as a good case study, because I think for a lot of young people, she's kind of like the fairy tale, in that it'd be great to hear, first of all, sort of how you found her in terms of an age, what it was about her that you thought kind of made her a Hamilton Hodeller, if you like.
Sure. Well, I would love to take the credit for signing Daisy Edgar-Jones, but it was actually done by another agent in my office named Christopher Ferrer. And he signed her 5 years ago when she was probably just turning 16, 17. She ended up booking a job as a regular on Cold Feet when that got relaunched. And it was a successful relaunch. And she's terrific. And she just went on from that beginning to a couple of really interesting jobs. She did she was on Gentleman Jack. She's done War of the Worlds. She had done one of those, I think she was on Silent Witness. She had done a variety of different things in a fairly short period of time. And then she got this job for Normal People. And it was a big deal for her to get it. But this is one of those very special moments when everything comes together. And I think that series is a great achievement across the board in every category, in directing, in producing, in talent, in location scouting, in everything. It doesn't put a foot wrong. And when that happens, a major, major moment can occur. And Daisy's having that. I'm very happy for her. I'm very proud of Christopher Ferrer for being part of that jury. And now she'll have enormous opportunities that are coming to her. So it will shift from, would you be interested in seeing Daisy Edgar-Jones, to, we would like Daisy to do this role. Is Daisy available here? And then soon people are fighting over availability and things like that. The job really shifts in that situation. So I've had that happen to me several times. It's always a very exciting moment. It's also stressful.
Let's take a look, if we can then. For those of you who haven't seen the hit BBC show Normal People, we're going to take a look at just 60 seconds or so of Daisy Edgar-Jones in a scene from it, which will help to contextualize it, because I think she's very approachable and relatable too. So let's take a look at Normal People, if we can.
What was Miss Neary talking to you about after class?
Oh, don't know. Getting out of class early for training or something.
She must find training highly amusing then.
Oh.
Did she fancy you or something?
Why'd you say that?
God, you're not having an affair with her, are you?
Please, think it's funny joking or stuff like that, do you?
Sorry.
People going at me like I fancy her. I don't fancy her.
Well, maybe it's because you blush a lot when she talks to you. But you know, you blush at everything.
Thanks.
Guess you have one of those complexions.
Great.
You're blushing right now, actually.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Sorry. I don't want to get into a fight with you or anything.
We're not fighting.
I know you probably hate me. But you're the only person who actually talks to me.
Never said that I hated you.
Well, I like you.
Had to train it, so
Good luck at the match tomorrow.
Thanks.
Great. So I think, you know, that brings me around to asking this next question, which is sort of, you know, there are so many actors out there, because, you know, there are so many aspiring, very good actors, and you must see a lot of them. How and what do you look for that gives you that sense, or what is it that's happening in your head when you look at someone and go, that's got star quality?
It's extremely subjective. And at my agency, we've got 5 talent agents in that in the kind of drama department, and we all have different tastes, and our lists are different. Plus, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in the business for over 30 years, so I think I have a house style for what I like. I lean towards the fine art house type work. We have other people at the agency that are really interested in much more commercial, multiplex movie type talent, and also really popular television. It really depends on what your taste is. What I'm looking for is someone that is completely immersed in the moment when they're doing their acting, that their eyes are as vivid when they're listening as when they're actually speaking, that they're not just waiting for their own turn to talk. There are elements about the way someone looks, whether they're particularly considered beautiful, attractive, or just a really interesting look, or scary as hell, or really funny, or amazing ability to change when you're like, oh my goodness, you can see in one performance that a whole bunch of different emotional notes have been touched accurately. I personally don't like the kind of acting where you can see people doing it. There are some people, and I'm not going to mention the talent, who have had huge careers by doing the type of performances that are there where you can see them doing it. And they're kind of winking at you going, watch what I'm going to do now. I don't like that. I tend to hypernaturalism, and and I'm always looking for a certain type of smart, witty rapport. Even if they're doing something that's tragic, I like to see there be humor. I think Tilda Swinton and Emma Thompson are great examples of people that can do some quite heavy work, but they always bring an intelligent type of wit and humor.
And if an actor that you represent or one of your agents represents really wants to do a show, have you had this where they really want to do something that you guys think is a terrible idea? How does, for their career, they might be seeing the money, the check, do you know what I mean? How do you balance that?
That has happened both ways. The agent can have weird ideas too. There certainly have been moments when I've seen something, a final version of something that I was a little hesitant about, and then it came out great, and the director had a vision and the artist was able to bring something to a performance that I hadn't seen on the page. That has happened. But there are many, many many good passes, actually, in a lot of the strong careers that I represent, where we've usually agreed that this is not the right thing, or I have kind of pulled back and said, let's think about this. Is this really what we need now? Yeah. I feel the type of partnership way of working with actors that I have, I feel like our decisions are almost always in tandem. You know, we're making unanimous decisions.
Yeah,
that's it. There's other times too when people they want to do something in their career for something that's entirely personal. They want to do something for their kids, or I've known an artist that's taken a job simply so they could make money, so they could donate that fee and to make a great a charitable contribution. So, you have to look into some of the motivations.
Yeah. And if we just, before we start, we're going to open it up, guys. So do get your questions in. We're going to start putting some of your questions to Christian in just a few minutes. For a lot of young actors who will be watching this, they will be thinking, do I have to go to drama school, for example, in order to become an actor of repute down the line? What is your take on that particular question?
Drama school suits some people, it doesn't suit others. Drama school enhances some people's ability, it mutes other people's ability. Particularly with me, in my taste for very naturalistic performance, I don't want everyone to have the same acting technique and to all be speaking in a uniform way. I want the kinks and the natural elements that make someone interesting. I've certainly worked with so many people that did not train. And I've worked with a lot of people that trained and are marvelous. Training is really, really great, in particular if you want a stage career, when you really need tools, skills, in order to do something like Coriolanus at the National for a long period of time, oh my gosh, you need some serious diaphragm skills, you need absolute endurance, you need the projection, the enunciation. You can't fake that. If you don't know how to do it, you're not going to be Coriolanus at the National.
And that was
You've got to have those skills.
Yeah, and do you guys, if you don't look at talent, so if, apart from drama schools, where I'm sure, representatives from Hamilton, Hoddell will go to those showcases, where else will you guys be looking to sort of source the next people, as it were?
Yeah, well, first of all, the people who have the easiest entree into the world are young people. The teenagers have a better chance than anyone else because the expectations of them are very low. They're not expected to have trained. They're not expected to have refined their talent or even really know what it is. And a lot of people start off and they luck into an opportunity and then they learn on the job. But to the same extent, as easy as that it is easier to get jobs then, it's also very easy for the industry when you're in your early 20s to go, we're not as interested in you as we were. Thank you for playing. And that's it. It's a really tough business for that, all of you listening out there. It's job security in our business is erratic at best. And the odds are crazy. I almost don't want to tell you what the odds are because then you won't even try. But the people who dare win, but it's the very, very few careers look like this, going up, 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 up. Normally career paths are like that. They look like a cardiograph in a hospital.
Yeah. And what are the things that, as we're about to open the questions up, but what are the things that a young person can do that are absolutely going to make you think, I do not want to represent this person?
Well, can I come back to that in 1 second? Can I start on the positive? and then get on the what not to do. What everyone needs to do is to actually act. They need to act. If you're finding it hard finding text that you can relate to, then by all means, make your own. Write your own stories, write your own dramas. Right now, you can just take a phone and create your own film, your own TV show, your own 10-minute series. You could, and so many people are breaking through simply on their own creativity and ingenuity. Great to be involved in plays in your community, in your school, semi-professionally, professionally. You can write into theaters and submit yourself. If you're paying it, we have things called trades that tell you what's happening in our business at the time. Screen Magazine, what's on theater. There's all sorts of, Spotlight is one of the great resources of what jobs are happening. And you can submit yourself for work. It's better when you have a talent agent to submit you for the on-camera work, but in theater, they'll pay attention to whoever writes into them. They don't tend to use agents in the same way that they are absolutely essential and necessary in on camera. And when you're an adult, you must have an agent to do theater work as well.
Great. And to come to the
next, and then what not to do. What not to do is to act inappropriately and pester people. The process is getting an agent and getting a casting director to pay attention to you, very, very difficult. You need to have some work to show for it. So you should have something on tape that shows you being great, natural, maybe shows a couple of different sides. If you could do a couple of different scenes. But once you've submitted, you need to behave in a really professional and appropriate and pleasant way. And when you start calling people up and hounding them and showing up at their door and doing cute things to call attention to yourself, it never works. It never, ever works. So don't do that. What else would I say they shouldn't do? I think just what is required is a passion, a self-belief, and tenacity. Tenacity is the word for everyone that has made it in this business. They just try and try and try and try and try. Are we there?
Yes, we are back.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, so I think we can start with some questions then, Kristen. So we've got some questions coming in. So here we go. We have, first of all, a question. This is from Sophia Mortlake, who is 13 from London. And she asks, what kind of job should I try for when I'm first starting out?
Internship. The magic word. Internships have a bit of a bad reputation because you don't get much money doing them, and but in our business they're absolutely essential. It's how everyone starts, and there are internships in agency work, in production work, and I'm sure they would exist as well in publicity and in kind of various aspects. That's how you start to learn how the business works. It's really helpful. We do them at my company. For the most part, our interns are maybe late teens, early 20s. Sometimes they have just finished a degree. Other times they're not going to a university and they're coming and studying. I think I had 2 internships when I was getting into the business myself, and since then it has become more part and parcel of our business.
Fantastic. So internships, Sophia, that's a great starting point. This next question is anonymous, but I think a lot of people will be asking this, and I know it's a tricky one to answer, but the question is, how can new actors get the opportunity to appear in front of an agent?
Showcases, showcases that are organized through different bodies. They can, and again, they can self-tape. Self-taping is something that's happened in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. That's really, really, our industry is really accepted, and we have younger junior agents at my office that spend a lot of time looking at submitted tapes, trying to find what new people would be interested to them. I'm not saying that we sign a huge amount of brand new people. We don't, but my company is kind of more weighted towards people that have careers that are already developed. So, but there are many, many other agencies, really good agencies with really great agents that are looking for those new people because our industry favors them. There's more work for and made for teens and early 20s than anything else. So, you know, sending material through.
And let's be clear that self-taping is quite simply, literally filming one yourself at home on a phone or an iPad.
That's right.
And giving a performance in
giving a performance,
homegrown fashion, and then sending it through.
Correct. Normally across from someone else who's reading off camera with you. The camera is on you, and you're having a whole moment like here. But you're acting across from someone, so there's electricity, give and take, ebb and flow, and it feels like something real. And that's how people get jobs. We've had so many people tape for movies in a teeny little broom closet in our agency, and they end up starring in films and getting huge TV series that are life-changing for them. On a terrible camera with really bad lighting.
But it does the job. Okay, we have a question here from Nelson McMillan, and we're going to get Nelson to ask this question themselves. So in just one second, Nelson, we are just about to be able to hear you. So Nelson, we can hear you, so do go ahead and put your question to Christian.
Hi, thanks very much for your time, Christian. I was just wondering, what are you seeing changing in industry from a casting and diversity point of view compared to maybe like 10 years ago? Thank you.
Oh, it's going in the right direction and very quickly. Huge changes in the last couple of years. Thrilling for me. It's completely changed in my 30 years in the business. It's completely, utterly changed. And there's just more and more and more. There's such a sincere, massive desire from within our business to improve and to get more realistic combinations of ethnic roles in productions, and in letting ethnic actors have those central lead roles instead of just being the friends and the worker bees and things. It's really terrific. I'm really, really happy. I've noticed it in the in the talent that we represent. Oh gosh, it's just great. I mean, one person I represent is David Oyelowo, who is now unbelievably successful actor. I saw him in theater, signed him then, and then he went on this slow but steady progression to be. He got to be Martin Luther King, and now he's just shot a film with George Clooney. He's just directed a film. He's producing films. He knows more about the business than I do. It's so great.
Wow, amazing. We have another question here, and this person's again going to get to ask them the question themselves. This is from Jackie Rowland. So if we can get ready, we are almost able to hear you, Jackie. Jackie, go ahead and ask your question.
Good afternoon, Christian. Good afternoon, everyone. My question is, up until now, you've been speaking mostly about young actors. Now, I don't really fit into that category anymore. I am a mature person starting out in the industry, and I'd like your advice, please, to more mature actors, how they can go about getting noticed and approaching agents with a hope to securing representation.
Right, that's a good question. It's more of a challenge, I'll be honest with you. And a lot of the mature actors I work with, they've already been doing it for a while. And because there's a certain burnout element to this job, the ones that have been working for a while, they have this momentum that has sustained them. I love it when there's new exciting talent coming from any age group. It's just the question of opportunity. I think it's hard to secure representation right off the bat, but the people that really need to know about the great mature talent are the casting directors. So I think one thing to do is, if you don't have an agent, don't let that stop you. Submit yourself directly to casting, explain why you're entering the circus at this point, and make your case. And also, like the kids, have those materials, find the scenes that suit you, get some stuff taped, get some stuff down there that people can look at. Yeah, I can think of someone very recently that did a film with one of my really big actors and ended up playing the husband to a very important actress. And he talked himself into it. He got to do the movie, absolutely terrific. And I'm sure he's going to be doing more work. So it can definitely happen.
Fantastic. This next question is from Mia Sant, who, and you don't have to badmouth your competitors in the answer to this one, Christian, but she asks, how can I tell, as an actress, a good agency from a bad agency, and how not to get into trouble? I'm not quite sure what Mia's got in mind there, but how would an actor go about sort of looking at the kind of agency that would be better or worse for them?
Wow, that's actually a huge question that I don't entirely know how to answer, except I would say it's good to be careful. Anyone can be an agent who says they want to be. There's no accreditation, there's no school for it, and there has been history of some cowboys and charlatans in the past. There's also been very, very, very prestigious agents that have run off with their clients' money, and you know, so that they're bad eggs everywhere. But our industry recognizes a certain large number of agencies that work in a very professional way. There's also something called the Professional Managers Association. If you're able to find out who is signatory to that group, you can be very confident that you're going to get bona fide, really, really high quality representation. Almost everyone has websites now. You can go on a website and see who people represent. That's usually a good indication of what they're going to be like. It's also good in the business to have other allies. So hopefully you might know someone in casting or at a theater, and they can give you, and you can run names past them so you can get an opinion.
Great. This next question comes from Junior Reese. And I think this is a great question because it's really specific. When it comes to approaching an agent, should an actor already have a CV and headshots? So I think this is a great question of just sort of, what are the things that are kind of like the absolute must-haves, like, you know, you just got to have them as someone starting up in this business?
Right. It depends what kind of agent you're approaching. If you're approaching someone like me, where the ability and performance is extremely important, as opposed to another agent. You know, there's agencies for everything. If you want to be a contestant on Love Island, there's an agency for that. You won't come to my agency for that. Yes, for a company like mine, we would want to see a body of work. We want to see what you did to enter into the business, how you prepared, where you went to school, what you consider your talents to be, what roles you've done in the past. If for the kids going in, you know, the teenagers, they're very often approached in school. If someone's like for the Harry Potter films, those casting directors went to a lot of schools and they find people that way. if you want to be, if you know you want to be in the business, then you have to start seeking experience. Experience is absolutely everything. The desire to be in the business is one thing, but experience is key. You have to find it, participate, create it, pay dues, work your way up.
And just about that thing, so headshots and a CV though are kind of a must-have, just basic, or does
Oh,
it...
absolutely. They're your calling card. And that's a whole other thing. The headshot, the photograph.
Yeah, tell us about what makes a good headshot.
That really matters. Because for a lot of time, that's the first thing people see. And if it is just a bog standard glazed smile, or it looks forced or poised, people can go, nope. That's it. It's awful, but it's true. The first thing to do is look at the photo. You want them to, in the old days, you would flip it around, the CD would be on the back, and then you need to keep their attention for at least 20 seconds. And then you have a chance. But otherwise they're going, yeah.
Can you hear us, Christian? We've lost your picture.
So sorry.
No, it's okay. We can still...
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm back.
And just on that headshots thing, I think it's great. What would be the one piece of advice you'd give about creating, if an actor was going to have headshots done, what is the one piece of advice you get the right headshot?
Have a professional headshot done. Don't have a friend do it. If you do have friends do it, have a lot of them, and show it to someone to get a second opinion. A lot of people are trying to favor what they think is their best image, but what you really want is something that represents your character, that has intelligent, alive eyes that aren't dead and glazed. It doesn't matter how great your hair looks. It matters how vivid and intense and that you look like you're in a thought process.
So this is, next question is from James, who's 24, from West London. And he asks, even though you're London-based at Hamilton Hodell, do you search for talent and attend showcases from all over the country, or is that more a casting director thing?
No, my agents go everywhere. And we've signed people from Belfast, from Cardiff, from everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Newcastle, Glasgow, Edinburgh, all the big university cities. We go to universities as well as the talent, as well as drama schools. Recommendations, friends of friends, people's kids. It can come from anywhere.
Everywhere. This next question is from Antonia Salza, who is 16 and joining us from Austria. And they ask, what drama schools would you recommend for someone who wants to pursue an acting career? Asking you to single out a recommendation. Is that possible to do?
I'm not going to do that, but it's very, very easy to tell which ones are the accredited schools that are putting out all of the talent that are going into our business. There's 20, 30 great schools. And with very little effort, you should be able to identify what those are.
Paula Zik, who is joining us, says that they are 12 years old from Croatia. And Paula asks, how do I get cast in a movie or a TV show without an agent if there isn't an agency near me?
I don't know the answer to that, I'm afraid. It'll be a challenge. You would...
I suppose there must be agencies in Croatia nearby. It's just maybe an internet search.
There probably are. There's probably regional agencies in every capital city or major city in Europe. We agents work with other agents. I have a partnership with an agency in Paris, in Munich, in Berlin, in Madrid, in Rome. Many in America, so those relationships do exist. But I don't know what to do if you're in a remote area and you're not near an urban center that is naturally going to have this. That's why a lot of people in the past, in in America, in my experience. That's why so many people ended up in LA, New York, Chicago, or in the Atlanta, Albuquerque, these production centers. They tend to, people gravitate because they know that's where the hubs of the industry are.
But I suppose the ability to self-tape and use the internet means that someone like Paula could send through stuff in a way that was just simply not possible years ago. So yeah, you can take yourself and send those through. This next question is from Andrea, who's 35, from Yorkshire, and says, what do you do if a client of yours is on the verge of a breakthrough and they want to make a tiny, quiet film that no one will want to see?
Oh, well, first of all, I trust my client's instincts a lot. I know, and one of my jobs is to help make their dreams come true, not just fulfill the industry's expectations of them. But good careers have a combination of both those things. And the artist, it's my job to put things into context, saying, well, if we do this huge franchise action picture, you're going to have enough clout to do a wonderful tiny artistic piece that you want to do. And boy, is that true. It happens all the time. If you look at the CVs of a lot of artists, you'll see that give and take and there was someone had a quote, I don't know who it was, maybe George Clooney or someone said something like 2 for the studio, 1 for me. You know, there's a rhythm of it. Also, you'll see people like Ben Whishaw, who I represent, and Ray Fiennes. They keep leaving the screen to go to the stage. That's very important to them. They need that. They need what the stage gives them, and then they're really happy to get back to the on-camera work. And I think that's a very similar thing.
Now, this sort of, I suppose, brings us back to something that you were almost going to say earlier about the number, because it is true that this is a tough industry. And Luca, who is 40 from Ischia, I believe that's Italy, asks,
yes,
what percentage
beautiful.
of unknown talent that you sign up are still there and doing it in 5 years?
That question will be different with different agencies that you ask. My agency, again, really focuses on people that already have careers or at the point where their career is starting to flourish. So for us, our level of our attrition rate is very, very low. Other agencies, it's very high, but that means the fact that that happens doesn't mean that they're not good agents. It just means that some agencies have more numbers. Some agencies are taking greater risks up front, signing more people, seeing who's going to have an opportunity or not. My agency is more conservative because we are already weighted towards people that have big careers. And the industry needs all these different types of agencies. It's very, very challenging to be an actor. Very few people have constant work. There's a lot of waiting around. There's a lot of waiting around once you've got the job. You know, are the dates going to hold? Will they move again?
A lot of rejection. That's the thing I always
oh my goodness, absolutely. Are you, you show up for work, you're all excited. 9 hours later, you're still waiting for the lighting to be done, or they've shifted the schedule because weather has changed, or something hasn't worked. The previous scene wasn't finished, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and you've been in makeup for a really long time in costume. There are real challenges on the actor's psyche and stamina, and that's why I love them so much, and that's why it's so amazing when they do have the moment and they do something that's truly excellent. Oh my gosh, it's incredible.
Wow. Now this is a great next question. This is from Samantha Steinmetz, who's 20, and based in West London, but of German origin, she says. And she asks, how does the accent affect the casting, and as well to get represented for an English agency or series? So I suppose we're dealing about sort of voices.
Yes. That too, like the opportunity in diverse casting, has gotten much better. Our industry is starting to really reflect that, particularly in shows that have an urban setting. We have people with all kinds of accents all the time. I'm an American in the UK. My partner is South African. They're just everywhere, and we're seeing this more and more in the work. I represent an actor who is from a German background, and will be doing a lead role very, very soon on British television. It's great. More and more and more and more.
Fantastic. And probably just a chance for a last couple of questions here. This is from Naomi Ormond, who is 19 and from London. And they ask, what's the process like for a young actor initially starting out with an agency?
Once they've been signed?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what, yes.
There will be a period of time when the agent is making introductions, setting up what's called general meetings, which aren't normally for a specific part, but just allow casting directors, and in some cases, directors and producers, to meet an actor and get to know them a little bit, with the hope that they would be cast later on. There's normally would be a focus in theater work. It's easier to get those jobs sometimes. And then when someone's in a play, we take casting directors, producers, directors to see the talent, if we're lucky enough to be able to get them to come and show up on the night. And we definitely have had great success with that. So it's a process of introduction, integration, and then constantly helping them prepare so that when they have their auditions, they can nail them, helping them in the audition technique, being good listeners, being sure to say what you need to say, don't talk too much, get them comfortable, get them into the rhythm.
Great. Well, thank you guys for some fantastic questions there. Just before we finish up, because I've got, I suppose, one question. You know, you work with some of the most successful actors in the world, and you've seen so many different personality types. We've talked a lot about how this is a difficult career. We've talked a lot about how difficult it is to stay in the business. But you've seen many people who have done that successfully and hopefully found some fulfillment. Is there one common element to all of those characters that you could kind of drill down into and say, I think that they all share this thing that has enabled them to find their way in a tough industry and have a fulfilling long-term career?
Self-belief. Self-belief, but I will tell you, they're all human beings, and they've all had delicate moments, and they've all had times when it's really hard, and they've also had times when it's just skiing downhill and it's all going great, and you're hitting every flag on the slalom.
Yeah. So resilience as well, I suppose, for young people as well. Don't you say
resilience, tenacity. Well, I said tenacity earlier. Those are the two things: self-belief and tenacity.
So if you get a no, don't take it as a no. Keep going. You will get knocked back. I suppose that we've all seen that throughout this industry. Yeah. In every department.
Thanks for the opportunity. Your loss. Moving on.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your experience with us, Christian, and for, on behalf of everyone out there. And thank you so much to everyone who's been with us for all these fantastic questions. And we hope that that has helped and been a little bit inspiring. So just a few notes to finish. So funds raised from this Q&A will be donated to the NHS COVID-19 charity appeal. So thank you so much, Christian, for joining us and for making that possible. Thank you. Next week at the same time, at 5 o'clock on a Thursday, we'll be in the Star Wars universe, where we'll be talking all about makeup, hair and prosthetics with one of the artists in charge of Chewbacca, among others. The next week, we have a double BAFTA-winning documentary female filmmaker and producer, Marina Parker, who's discussing the boom in documentaries and giving the inside track on how those get made. And then we've got the legendary stuntman, Leonard Woodcock, who will be talking about discussing stunts in Guardian of the Galaxy, Thor, and other of the Marvel big budget movies. So please do, guys, go to the Young Film Academy website, follow the social media, and come and join us for some of those. We've also just launched the Young Film Academy, our virtual summer camp for ages 12 to 17, which is an amazing experience to make movies in teams from home this year. So do check out the Young Film Academy website for details of those. Thank you so much again, Christian, for joining us. And
my pleasure.
Thank you. And good luck getting your talent back on set safely.
Thank you.
To all of you at home, we hope to see you again. And until then, stay safe. Thank you and goodbye.